Hello there, good to see you and thank you for your eyeballs. By the way, today is the last day to vote. I'm making this video on 18th of October 2024 and the voting is closing at exactly 9 p.m. So if you have not voted, and by the way, you're asking what voting? I was nominated as the financial coach of the year. And by the way, guys, do something. Tomorrow is the D-Day. All right, so go ahead and cast your vote. How do you vote? On the comment section, I'm going to pin a link. Once you click that link, it will take you to the platform where you vote. Give me your 1 vote, 2 vote, 3 votes, whatever the capacity that you have, and let's bring that home. And I dare promise you that I'm going to bring that trophy here and I'm going to show you guys and I'm going to carry you through tomorrow. That is on the 18th or rather 19th of October. I'm going to take you through the entire process. Anyway, here is me. Let's get into the business. By the way, I promised you guys that for the next few days, I'm going to be practical. Today, we are looking at it into if you invest 100,000 Kenyan shillings or if you invest 100,000 into stocks or shares. By the way, stocks and shares, they mean the same, yeah? Or even equities, they mean the same. How much do you earn per month? How much do you earn? So I said I'm going to try the best as I can because you're asking me those questions on the comment section. Here we go. Okay, now, if you invest your 100,000, by the way, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel because I post this kind of videos. Next, I'm going to talk about fixed deposit, fixed income, bond fund, balance fund, how much you earn so that you understand. So if you don't want to miss any of my good videos, go ahead and hit that subscription button. That's a small button written in subscribe is in black just next to my number of subscribers. And make sure that you like this video and leave me a comment on the comment section what you'd like me to talk about. Here we are. We have 100,000. That is what we want us to invest. And where we are investing is to shares. Now, the question is, how much do I make out of this? I'm sorry, guys, I got some dusty whatever thing, okay? Now, the point is, how much do you make in a month? Okay, first of all, do they pay in a month? I'm going to answer that question. Now, here we are. Now, how do you calculate this? By the way, this one is quite interesting, and I want you to take a pen and paper and relax and take your time so that at least we can go step by step. Today, I don't have my calculator, so you're going to rely on your own calculator, all right? So let's get into the business. So if you buy yourself, let's say you buy shares, and I told you shares are classified to different categories, depending with the number or depending with the price per share that is given out there, okay? Now, the question should be, how much then do you earn? See, if you buy shares, first of all, earning or how much you make in a share or a stock is dependent with three things. Number one, of course, is dependent with the performance of that company, performance of the company that you buy shares, okay? Two is dependent on something called EPS. Of course, the EPS is determined by the performance of the company. EPS simply means earning per share. What does that mean? It means how much you will earn per that one given share that you have. And the third thing, of course, it's what we call the percentage yield. So basically, I would say basically it's like the interest. Allow me to use that term. Although we don't use the term interest in the shares, but allow me to use that term for the purposes of explaining this point. So basically, these are the three things that determines how much you do what you actually earn. Of course, now let's get practical. You have your 100,000 invested in a share. I hope you noted those one before I deleted, okay? Now, let's say you buy shares of a company because let's say I told you we have three classification of shares. We have the dividend shares. By the way, we have shares that don't actually give dividends. So it's always good to confirm whether that share that you're buying is actually a dividend share. All right, it's giving you dividends. And then we have the shares that we call them allow me just not give them a name because they really don't have that name. And then we have the shares, we call them the penny stocks or the penny stocks. What does it mean? Like this one has like the moderate shares, the average shares, and what have you. And we can call them movers, the most expensive shares, whatever the name that you can give them. We basically have the three classes. The penny stocks are the shares that cost less money to buy. Let's say we have two people, okay? We have two people here, or let's just say we have, let's say we have two people indeed. So we have two people here. Last time we used Mercy. Today, let's use Miriam, a very wonderful follower of mine from South Africa. She's called Miriam. I'm pretty sure she's gonna text me or she's gonna respond or she's gonna put a comment on the comment section. Miriam, today we are using you. So Miriam from South Africa, Miriam, and then let's say we also join with somebody like let's say Ken. All right, Ken is a great guy as well who makes content about the finances. Now These are two guys who have invested. Now, this Miriam, of course, invested 100K and Ken invested 100K as well. But now Miriam decided to buy a quite of a premium shares. For example, in Kenya, I'm not going to name the share company, but there is that one share that, well, that company, one share, it actually costs around 350 shilling. I think it is the most expensive share. One share. It is 350 shilling. Are we together? And then let's say Ken buys say a moderate share somewhere, maybe a share that cost around say 15 shillings. Okay. Now these guys they have decided to invest differently. So if then according to the Kenyan law, of course according to the Nairobi Securities Exchange, basically you're supposed to buy a minimum of 100 shares, but you can buy less. But when you buy in terms of 100, it becomes a little bit easier. All right. So here she has 100,000 and she wants to buy share that one share costs 350. So that means if she goes buy and buy 100 shares of this company, let's call this company X and let's call this company Y. So if she buys 100 shares, so it will be 350 multiplied by 100, that would be that 5,000. That 5,000, of course, there is still a remainder. Maybe she can buy another set, maybe let's say 200 shares. That is around 70,000. There's still another something. But now the problem is it's less than that amount of money or something. Let's say maybe probably that 100K will buy her approximately, if 200 is giving her 70,000, let's give it at around 350 shares, okay? 350 shares. That's what the 100K will buy from this expensive company. This guy from this side, who is buying a share that is costing 1,500, that particular share will be, if you buy 100, of course, it will cost you 1,500. So you can simply take 100,000 divided by 15. Are we together? So how much that it is, okay? Now, the point is, if 100 shares is costing 100,000, so if you buy 1,000 shares, 1,000... okay, if you buy 1,000 shares, you're gonna have yourself that's quite of a huge chunk of cash anyway. But anyway, the point is, let's say you buy at around approximately, let's say I don't have a calculator, so I don't have a way of calculating this mathematics. So how if you're buying 15 shilling for one share and you have 100,000, that will give you at around, let's give it a rough number of say 800. Let's say you have 800 shares, okay? 800 shares of this given company Y. Now Miriam has 350 shares. This guy has 800 shares. Now, each and every company, the amount of money you make or what they give as earning per share differs from one company to the other. Let's get into the business and see who will earn what. Okay? That just like I told you, there's something called EPS, earning per share. And this is how it's calculated. Let's say a company has made a profit of, say, 100 billion, okay? They have made 100 billion, okay? 100 billion. So if they have made a profit of 100 billion, of course, they don't give every coin to the shareholders. There is that money that is left for the development. Even you in your business, you cannot eat all the money. Are we together? They can decide we're going to share, say, 60 billion to our shareholders. Then we're going to leave the 40 billion towards the development of the company. Maybe the company is expanding. Maybe they're in the process of acquisition of a certain property. Maybe they're all those kind of things. So let's say out of the 100 billion, that is the total profit after them pay taxes, blah, 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 and what have you. They have left with six, they have decided under the management and the Senate and the the board of directors, they have decided 60 billion. This is what will be shared among the shareholders. Now, how do they come up with that earning per share? What decides how much they will pay per share? What decides that? Of course, there are other parameters, but I'm going to use the popular one. Are we together? Then they take the 60 billion divided by total number of floated shares. TNFS. Total number of floated shares. What does it mean? It means they're taking the 60 billion divided by all the shares that they have sold out there. I have 100. Let's say we are using an example, say, of Ken. Ken has 800. Another one has 3,000. Another one has 10,000. Another one has 100. Another one has 150. Another one has... So all those number of shares when put together, that is total number of floated shares, that amount of money divided by that. Let's say that magical number they come up with, let's call that number, say, Z or Z. Now that number, let's say that number is, say, 10. If that number is 10, then that is our EPS. I said may not be the only factor that they use to determine the EPS. There are some other factors. I'm using the popular one. Are we together? So EPS is 10. So they have decided according to the number they have gotten here. Now this is the magical number. Now this magical number, it's the one that will be used to calculate everyone's share. So this is how they do it. So if they come up with a magical number called 10, then they come here, Miriam, how much will Miriam earn? It will be, remember Miriam has what? Miriam has 350 shares. So it will be 350 shares. So because the earning is usually EPS, of course, multiplied by the number of shares that you have. So it is EPS, which is 10, are we together, multiplied by 350. And EPS is earning per share in whichever denomination terms of the currency it is. So it will be 10 multiplied by this. Therefore, it will be, say, 3,500. But be informed, especially these companies that cost a lot of shares to buy. You find most of them in Kenya. For example, this company that has this amount of share, I won't name the company, for if you're smart you'll know which company I'm talking about. I mean, after all, it's the most expensive one. Their last time EPS was around, say, 50 shilling. Okay, it was 50. Are we together? If it was 50, then you can actually go ahead and calculate and see how much you're gonna make out there. So it is 350 multiplied by 50. Are we together? Therefore 0052, this becomes what? 1517. Are we together? So that is exactly what you earn. You earn 17,500. And that amount of money you earn is usually what we say it is per annum, meaning it is per year. Are we together? So now let's go to the next example of Ken, who has 800 shares. 800 shares, when you're buying shares worth, say, a price per share is around 15 shillings, around there. So the EPS is usually around, let's say, 4 shilling, 5, sometimes it can be 1 point something, depending with the performance of that company in that particular fiscal year. So let's say the earning per share, let's use what we have here. So let's say they got the earning per share of 10, or maybe let's say they got the earning per share for, say, 5. Okay, let's say they've decided it's 5. So it will be 5, which is earning per share, multiplied by the number of shares that you have. Ken has 800. Therefore, Ken will earn, say, 40 or 4,000 for that matter. Are we together? I know the question you're asking right now, hey Joseph, if I bought shares, how will I even know how much they are paying the earning per share? And that's why I said you cannot buy shares and do what? And be a lazy individual. You have to be an individual who actually watches the news. For example, say you have bought shares for the company Z. The company Z, because it's a PLC, it's a public listed company, they are supposed to come up on open. Some of these companies, they actually invite media and they give their financial performance in that particular financial year. Therefore, they usually say, we've decided that we're going to have, probably they may not, of course they will say, yeah, by the way, they're supposed to even to say, hey, we made 100 billion, and we've decided the 60 billion will go to be shared among their shareholders. And of course, we have actually done our calculation, and we're going to give the earning per share at 10, at 2, at 15, at 1.5, at 1.2, at 1. Depends. They usually give that record out there in public so that you can be able to decide, if I have 100 shares, then I'm looking forward, say if they've decided to be 5, then it's 100 multiplied by that 5. And of course, don't forget, you have to pay tax. And in Kenya, the tax is usually 5%. So now that's quite interesting, because if you invest on bonds and bills and money market fund, you pay 15%, but on shares, by the way, they charge you only 5, because they've already taxed the company, and those kind of things. So shares becomes one of the great areas where you can not only grow your money, but also hide your wealth if you are a smart individual. And that's why I always tell people, be a smart individual, all right, and grow yourself out there. Anyway, guess what, guys? Maybe probably I've not exhausted everything, because it's kind of long calculations and some other complicated things that I've not included in this particular video. Why? Because the people I serve, of course, not all of them are, they have the economics background and what have you. So I try to simplify the information as much as possible so that you can absorb a lot, so that at least you can understand how exactly is what is happening out there. All right. And sometimes, it's good also to know how your company is performing. Also have the track record of how the company has been performing back then before you make a decision of buying or investing in that particular company. So there you are. So you've already known. And by the way, let me tell you one secret. You can actually double earn in this particular investment called shares. Why? Let's say they have given you, and by the way, before I even forget, I have to let you know that Some companies pay 2 times in a year. There's something called the interim dividends, whereby after 6 months, that is semi-annually, they decide to share certain amount. It's like telling you, hey, you know what? Yeah, I know you're hungry. Just be eating this one as we are waiting for the D-Day where you're gonna get something. So not all the companies pays you 2 times per year, but there are some that pays you 2 times per year, so that at least, that is their policies and what have you. And again, there are companies that they do not pay dividends. You just, whatever the profit they get, they plow back. You just rely on what we call the capital gain. Capital gain simply means, say you bought a share at 350, therefore maybe you give it a year or so, maybe you've realized that the price has actually gone to even 500, okay? If it goes to 500, you can decide to sell all your shares. And of course, you make a profit. That is 150 multiplied by the number of shares that you have. And of course, that means that is the money you make. And that is what we call earning, or rather the capital gain. Well, that is it, guys. Hope I've not left anything out there. And if you'd like to invest on stocks or shares, you know nothing about how to invest, my number is on the comment section. By the way, I'm still gonna pin that number on that link there, okay? And don't forget to vote me, guys. Today, D-Day, 9 p.m. It is the last day to vote and the last time to vote, because tomorrow is the gala. Tomorrow is the day. So anyway, guys, don't forget as well, if you'd like to get my services, that number, I'm going to put it on the comment section. That's my number. That's my official business number. You can contact me. I'm going to take you through. And of course, be informed, I do charge for my services. But the good thing is that it is actually very much affordable. For instance, if you don't want me to guide you, you can be able to read it by yourself. I have a booklet on shares or stocks, and it's only 280 Kenyan shilling. That's like less than $3. So you can grab that copy, have it yourself, and learn it. All right, and we move to the next level. That is it, guys. See you in the next one. And by the way, don't forget, thank you for your eyeballs. See you in the next one.